I call the meeting to order at 7 o'clock. We have all members present with everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Corey, you want to lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So that brings us to the items for the good. Oh, it's been spring break. I haven't done this in a while. Okay. Yes, could I get a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Madam President, I move to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Okay, motion carried. Now we can get to the good stuff.
I don't think anybody's on the sheet. Did you already pick it up?
I haven't picked it up. Nobody's on the sheet.
Okay, so there's no open forum.
All right, so we want to start with state wrestlers, or Hayden's first on the agenda is Steve Gary. No?
Back to Mountain.
High school wrestling.
Coach Brown, you want to talk about your wrestlers, please?
Yeah. I got clients with me.
There's some of them.
Okay.
We're excited. I'm going to turn things over to Coach Brown, but I just want to say we're very excited. We sent 6 of our young men to the state, 4A state wrestling competition in late February, last week of February. And you all would be extremely proud of each one of those young men. They represented the community, the school themselves extremely well, very competitively. And I'm, as an athletic director, couldn't be more proud. I'll let Coach Brown kind of get into more details because I'm learning wrestling as fast as I could this year. So we're excited with what they accomplished.
I like that sweatshirt.
Oh.
Talking about these young men, we're missing one. Hayden Obi wasn't able to make it here today. He had a family obligation tonight. But we got 6 wrestlers in the state tournament. That's 2 out of the last 3 years. We've had 6 kids make the state tournament. It had been since 1992 since we had that many qualifiers. And so, the first time a lot of teams seem to think maybe it was a fluke. I think teams are starting to realize it's not a fluke. And these guys work hard, and like Coach Graber said, represent us well. I'm just going to run through real quick. We got Jake Meyer at 182 pounds, Tate Weber at 132 pounds. By the way, they're not still that anymore. Thomas McIntyre at 145 pounds, Nick Cruikshank at 138, and Drew Brown at 160. Thomas was 4th in the state as a sophomore this year. And then we also had Hayden Obiet, who was a state champion this year, undefeated state champion, 33-0, first in school history. So pretty amazing. We finished 13th as a team. That also is the highest we finished as a team since 1992. And so 4 of these guys are returning next year. So future looks bright for us. And these 2 guys who are graduating, they've been great leaders for our program over the last 4 years. And not just leading in wins, but also just leaders on and off the mat. Just tremendous individuals who have helped kind of lead this program where we want to be. A couple other things. 4 of these gentlemen were just named today, Kansas Wrestling Coaches Association All-Academic. The All-Academic team. Drew and Hayden were both first team, and then Nick and Tate were honorable mention. These 2 other guys are good students as well. They only give that awards out to juniors and seniors, or they qualify for that award as well. So didn't want to make anybody think they would. And then they haven't announced it yet, but our regional team should also qualify as a team for first team all academic as well. So, that's something that, I'm really proud of, that they are not only great competitors on the mat, but they are also great students as well in the classroom and are really representing our school in a ton of positive ways. So,
Hey, Coach.
Yeah.
How many did you have go out this year?
we ended up, we had just over 30 start, we ended up with about 28 with the
You
girls.
had several more girls this year.
We had 6 girls this year, ended up finishing the season.
Yeah.
So really our first true girls wrestling team. We've had multiple girls and they competed well. It was something new for each one of them. I think a couple of them had never seen a wrestling match before. And so they learned a lot. I learned a lot about how to coach girls. Never done that before. And so I should have talked to Coach McIntosh first. I learned a few things. But, for example, I'll share an example with you. When you're yelling at a bunch of boys and you're saying, hey, we got to get better at this and blah, blah, blah. Each boy thinks you're talking about the person sitting next to him. Okay? When you say that to a bunch of girls, every single one of them thinks you're talking about them. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And so that was a great lesson for me to learn and how to coach a little differently between the two of them. But it's an awesome lesson to learn. And we are really fortunate to have those girls out. They work their tails off and just an amazing young women.
And they all were fun to watch
Yeah.
this year.
I'd like to share an anecdote too. This was the first year I've watched a lot of girls wrestling. And I did not see a stalling call in a girls match this year.
Yeah, they get after it.
They get after each other.
Yeah, it is really fun, the progression over the past 3 years that's happened with our girls wrestling and across the state, and the amount of opportunities for them post high school to continue wrestling, even local, Baker, Ottawa have women's wrestling programs, so pretty exciting. So,
Good
all right.
Congrats,
Thank you.
Good job, guys.
Girls basketball. As they're making their way up, again, extremely proud of the coaches and these young ladies all year, at the level they competed at. They go to Basin Glenwood, Powerhouse in 5A, and beat them out there from turf. We had 2 losses to end the regular season. One a very good runner-up, Eudora, who got us to the semis of sub-state, and then we went 1-1 with Clay Center. But again, I'm extremely excited about the program and these girls, their accomplishments they did this year. I'm going to turn it over to Coach Mack. Again, this group here represented themselves, families, this school, and community extremely well last weekend, actually state tournament. So, Coach Mack.
All right, I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Addison. I'm Brad Weinhardt. I'm Maya. I'm Kyla. I'm Sarah. Paige. Caleb Speaker. Ryan Alberson. Kirby McKee. Ashton Pearson. Tristan Hoover.
Coach Shell.
Instead of me standing here talking, I just asked our seniors to talk because I figured you'd probably like to hear from them than me. So go ahead.
I'll start. I didn't really know what to talk about, but I think most importantly, every year we set goals for ourselves over the past 4 years. That obviously changes based on what we think is realistic. But this year we knew we wanted to win league and we wanted to make a run at state. And we accomplished both of those things. So as a senior, that makes me really proud. I was injured for most of the season. So still being there and seeing everything that everyone here accomplished and being able to be a part of that was really cool. And just want to say thank you for all the support from our community over the past 4 years. It's really made a difference in my experience being a Lady Raider. So,
mine's kind of shorter, but I am very extremely proud of this group. I think all of us have built into the culture that we wanted to establish this year, and it got us where we were this year. We came to practices focused, ready to get better every single day. Even in the weight room, all of us lift. Every single one of us lifts weights. It goes to summer weights, goes to open gyms and all of that. And I think that played a huge role in how our season ended out this year. And it was awesome. I'm so proud of all of us.
Same. I agree. But I was, again, leaning like towards like our team chemistry. Our team chemistry is, I think, what got us a long ways this season. And it's always been like we've always had that bond, but I think this year it's been more special than ever. It's got us a lot farther. So all of our hard work in the summer and our team chemistry and the bonds we shared together, it's
Coach, I don't know whether I can give you any advice on coaching girls, because I coach them the same way as I coach guys. So whether that's right or wrong, I think they deserve to be coached hard and pushed, and this group responded. They're a gritty group. If you ever watch them play, they're tough. And, you know, we did really well this year, but when, you know, we're holding up trophies and league championships and stuff, the things I think about are the 4 years that these seniors have invested, and the 3 years that the juniors have invested. All the work, all the dedication, all the time. That's a lot. We ask a lot of them, but they don't bat an eye, and it's just nice to see that hard work pay off, and it's nice to see them overcome a lot of adversities this past year to hopefully make our community proud. I've been in a lot of places, and I don't know if I've ever been to a high school basketball environment like it was at our sub-state games, and even in our regular season. It's incredible. I mean, just the community support, our admin support. I mean, it's awesome. Our band and our cheerleaders. So we recognize that, and I think these guys feed off of that. And we thank you, and we hope to do it again next year.
Very cool. So we're gonna look at the Job Olympic winners.
All right, I can get my job Olympics group. I'm extremely pleased, excited, and proud to stand up here with these group of young people. A lot of times they're not recognized for a lot of their accomplishments and things they do within the building, for the building, and for this district and so forth. So it's an honor for me to stand here. I'm going to let our two teachers can talk more about what it is they accomplished. But how I view it is a lot like what they competed in and what they went to would be similar to those state tournaments, that sub-state tournament, those victories. So it is awesome to have these young people stand up here and recognize them for their accomplishments and awards and medals that they earned a few weeks ago. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to you guys. You guys can explain a little bit more.
Well, we're kind of third string. First two presenters couldn't be here, so sorry about your luck. So it's not actually, we don't actually do Job Olympics. Christy Wiggers does, but so I have a little blurb from her. Job Olympics was started in 2019 as a result of the work of 5 area transition coordinators from Wamego, St. Mary's, Rossville, Manhattan, Junction City, and Beloit. It's an opportunity for high school students to showcase their employment and independent living skills. Students can work on these skills throughout the year in the classroom, and the competition allows students to compete for awards. Job Olympics offers a total of 27 events at 3 different difficulty levels. Students can compete in up to 4 events, with the top 3 placers in each event earning a medal. The event has grown over the years, starting from 10 schools participating to now 17 schools participating. Job Olympics was originally funded through a We Are Wamego grant and a donation from the cooperative. Now it's 100% funded through the community donors through Wamego Match Day. This year, enough money was raised to purchase t-shirts for all students and judges. Students have been able to participate in this event without any cost to school districts or families. Thank you to board members Corey and Tara. and several other district employees for judging this year. So on March 3rd, 11 students and their sponsor Maggie Strait from Wamego High School participated in the 4th Annual Job Olympics at Kansas State University Recreation Complex. Please congratulate the following students for earning medals amid a lot of competition. So first we got Dalton Golf for recycling, 3rd place. Chris Roberts, coin recognition, 1st place. Joey Roberts, facing shelf, 2nd place. Gift basket assembly, 1st place. Elizabeth Spencer, cell phone message, 2nd place, and she's not here this evening. Ethan Staten, rolling silverware, 1st place. Advanced filing, 1st place. And then Cody Wankland, 2nd place, stuff and label envelopes.
Good job, guys.
Way to
I just want to interject that, have a happy World Down Syndrome Day today.
Aw.
Let's get a picture from the stickers.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was a lot of fun. Wasn't it, Tara? That was a lot of fun.
There we go.
I got done and like my cheeks hurt from smiling so much. I mean, it was just all the kids, all the fun, all the joy. I was, yeah. That was fun. I had the messy event. I had the messy event.
Come on down, Miss Wolf. And then pretty awesome one, though.
So, Mr. Mann asked that I come and share with you a little bit about the award that we just received. I am going to pass around one of the components of the documentation I had to send in when and I think there's enough for everybody, but so last fall, the USDA announced the Turnip the Beat award, which recognizes outstanding summer meal program sponsors across the nation who work hard to offer high quality meals to children that are appetizing, appealing, and nutritious during the summer months. And there was quite a bit of criteria. They were looking at districts that were serving age appropriate foods, how we were gathering feedback, how are we encouraging them to eat healthy foods, and then the menu and the menu documentation about how often we're doing fresh fruits and vegetables and what kinds and how much is local and all of that kind of stuff. And I was able to put in our application too, because part of the summer food service program is always nutrition education activities. And with COVID, of course, we have been doing all drive-through, but that's part of the reason that Darcy Hildebrand and I collaborated on the program at the library, the Cooks and Books program. So I was able to mention that in the application as well. We had to apply to the state first, and the state sent nominations to the USDA, and I found out last week. I tried not to check my work email, but I saw one from Cheryl Johnson pop up, and so I had to look at it. So there were 3 districts in Kansas that got this award. 312 Haven and 231 Gardner Edgerton also were recognized, but only 84 districts in the country. So I'm super proud of the work that we did last summer and super happy to get that recognition. So.
does an awesome job.
They really do. It's not me. I mean, I couldn't do it without the great staff that I have. So,
Of course, but leadership drives a good team. too,
Yeah.
So did burritos go over today?
I hope so. Folks, there is no school pizza out there anywhere.
Yeah.
Darn.
I saw that one kindergarten, she come home, we didn't have pizza, Dad, we didn't have.
I've been pulling out my hair for 2 months trying to get, and we just can't get any more through our vendor right now. Most of the manufacturers have stopped producing some school child nutrition labeled items, and it's just gone until they start up production again. So anyway, yeah, burritos were yummy. Okay.
Thanks, Laura.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See you
Thank you, Laura.
guys.
Take care.
So that brings us to our consent agenda. No questions, and I'd entertain a motion to approve it as presented.
Madam President, motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Kara seconded, all in favor? Motion carried. All right, so that brings us to number 8, approve the,
We're not approving.
oh, we're not?
Sorry, that was
And this,
miscommunication on my part and
We're-
Mrs. Mayfield's.
we're looking
We're gonna look at it.
the programs for next year for WMS and WHS.
Can I say that before this minute? We're not approving this simply because these booklets contain things that have already been approved. There's nothing in here that's new information that
Okay.
needs to be redone. But the reason we're bringing it to you, I want to Scott brag a little bit because these are really, I believe, special documents that they put together. A lot of time has been spent, so.
And the counselors at the middle school and the high school and administration has done a great job of really taking all the information from the handbook and from the website, and that's just been kind of out all over the place. And we put it into one document. And I know a lot of you have high school students, so you probably already use this at enrollment. I made you guys a printed copy just so you can see what it looks like in hard copy, but we really want to keep it digital so that we can just share it all the time with people and it always stays up to date. And so as you guys approve graduation requirement changes or courses or anything like that, we can go in and update it, and then it's just automatically updated for the parents. So it looks a little different. The middle school one is obviously much skinnier than the high school one, but it still has that same idea of helping students when they come into the middle school or the high school have an idea of what, as far as my courses are concerned, what does it look like for over the course of the either 3 years or 4 years that we're in middle school or high school. So I don't have a lot to say on this. I wanted to answer questions. I wanted to brag on the counselors and the principals for a minute. And
Well, this looks like stuff I see from Highland and stuff. It's well put together. I mean, just like when they get ready to go to college, it's all laid out in a similar fashion. So it's
right,
really cool.
yeah, and hopefully, even if we have kids going to Highland, they can kind of get some information from here on what to take at MATC or Highlands or whatever.
Can you elaborate a little bit more about your processes, your meetings, your stuff that you did? I want to hear what you guys went through. I mean, when I looked through all of this earlier and actually hit print and it all printed out, I had used the high school one and so forth, but I really want to, because there's no way this happened quickly. So would you please elaborate a little bit? I mean, I guess the brag part, tell us. Yeah, please.
So these, I was on Topeka, another school's website, and I come across one of these documents. Well, man, these are great things to have and they had put them together. And so we took what they had, the format that they had, and changed it a little bit to make it fit ours. And then I met with the counselors and the principals and talked about, okay, is this worth it? This is going to be a lot of work. Is this going to be something that the parents and the kids can actually use? And everybody agreed that, yeah, it is. And so then the counselors took off because they had to start getting all the course descriptions. They had some of them, but they wanted to make sure that they were updated and that they included all of them, because sometimes we just had like elective courses or whatnot, but we wanted every single course. And so the counselors worked with the teachers to make sure all their course descriptions were up to date. The course codes were there. And then, so we went back and forth on a Google Doc, answering questions, emailing, comments back and forth, meeting more times to figure out, okay, does this work? And we put it out to our site council for feedback at the high school to see, okay, what, is there anything that would make this better? And put it out to the staff and got their feedback. Okay, take a look at it. What would make things better? What needs rearranged? What, and there were several things like, hey, if you take, like for art was an example, we had art 1 was in one place and then art 2 was way down here. And so it's where they said, well, if you can just move art 2 up here, it'd make a lot more sense. So even small things like that, like just how they listed and whatnot. And got the information from CTE, our CTE teachers on the pathways. And then the principals making sure their letter was the way it was supposed to be and everything was, the enrollment happened the way it was supposed to happen. So it was a intense process, but I think it's a good document that we can have for a long time.
And you won't have to ever reinvent the wheel now, because it's so well put together. Like you said, you can just add to it or subtract.
Change as you guys approve courses or we take out courses or whatever, just add them to or take them out. And it'll always be up to date because, again, we don't want to print copies of it, and that's intentional.
Well, it's impressive. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted you to thank the counselors and the admin because
I know that this went deeper, and that's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Just hearing that it got all the way to site councils and all the way back and everybody's input. That's what I wanted to hear because I knew this was a big undertaking.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. We are working on a document for our elementary schools that will not be a program guide. So we don't really have courses down there, but we'll bring it to you once. It's a document that shows, here's what we're using for language arts. Here's what we're using for math. Here's, kind of explains everything in one nice document. So that'll come later.
Awesome.
We wanted to get these done for enrollment though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Thanks,
Very,
Scott.
very
Thanks,
nice.
everybody.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, so that brings us to number 9 for the high school course approvals. And I would imagine this Crystal back there is up for that.
I was just told in case there were questions.
Oh, okay.
I'm a backup plan, maybe.
You're a backup?
I don't know.
This is definitely Julie and Crystal's great job. Yeah.
Just keep moving through one of my goals, as I've said many times at the high school, is to increase course offerings. And so try to think of different ways to do that within the space we have and the staff we have. And one of the things that I noticed as we went through this year was that we had students who were, especially our juniors and seniors, who were wanting to take internships through their junior year and their senior year. And so they were taking the same class multiple times to accomplish that because being able to work out in the community is definitely something we support. It's definitely giving them a lot of skills and teaching a lot of soft skills that are hard to teach anyplace else. So as I was looking at that process and looking at, okay, they're having to do the same things over and over again, I started talking to Mrs. Brimmer, who was in charge of our kids who weren't in the pathway doing these internships. And so it's like, okay, we teach a lot of these soft skills. How can we split this out so that we can get kids younger, so they're ready for the pathways when we get there, and then split it out even more so that as kids get older and have been in an internship and doing work-based learning, we're doing less class time and more time in the community. And that's where my input ended. I walked out and I come back and Crystal's in front of her dry erase board and she's got it all worked out so that we can be doing these different courses so that we are doing everything I asked. So all I had to do was plant the seed, and Crystal took it and ran. So I'm gonna let you explain a little more about the classes.
So I just basically took some ideas from different things that I have come across, and then Ms. Shrum's idea, and she's always said she's the big idea person and she's not the detail person, and so I matched that very well. So it's exactly what she said. I just went through and said, what is the end goal for each student that I wanted? And then I worked backwards from there. And so one end goal is to add the youth apprenticeship idea. And then because of that, there wasn't enough time to get to that point if I didn't build something for a freshman and sophomore. So I built the career exploration class for the freshmen and sophomores. And it'll be a whole semester of exploring 4 clusters of their choice, 4 of the 16 career clusters. And that can also include the 4 branches of armed services if they want to delve into that. And they take an entire month and research what it is that they want out of each career cluster. And then they actually job shadow in each of those areas once a month. So at the end of that month, they'll go and job shadow. And then at the end of the semester, their semester final is to share what career cluster interests them the most, and then make a strategic plan through their individual plan of study for their next school years to make sure we can accomplish that and get them to their junior and senior year. Youth apprenticeship is a big undertaking. It is not really new, but it's a new idea on the youth side. And we tried to be the #1 school to register and partner with business. And we're going to end up being #2. That's okay. It's a long process on both the business side and the school side. So basically that means that I partner, or the school rather, partners with a company, any company. It could be agriculture, it could be IT, it could be a hospital. And we partner together and they tell us what they need our students to have before coming to them and doing an apprenticeship or an internship. The unique thing is it's very unique for every company, which is why it takes a while to register a company and partner with them, because we have to make sure we can offer what they need for our students. And then we make a backwards plan for that student too. So if they want to be a CNA, where their ultimate goal is to be a doctor, how do we get them to that point, CNA, that they are age appropriate for now? And then what classes do they need to take to get there? And then the other unique thing is youth apprenticeships are paid apprenticeships. So any student that goes through the apprenticeship program will be a paid apprentice. Whereas an internship, we still have a lot of our kids are unpaid, which is okay. Sometimes you have to do the back work in order to get to where you want to be in your career. So that's okay.
And the apprenticeship, the other thing that's nice about the youth apprenticeship is those hours that they put in while they're in high school, travel over to the adult apprenticeship so that they can get their adult apprenticeship completed sooner and for less money. And so it's a double bonus for our students. They're getting that experience while they're being paid and making headway towards completing their adult apprenticeship in whatever area they may choose to go into. And so I was really excited when Crystal took that and ran. I had told her I would love for us to make a splash there and offer this opportunity to our students. I'm a big believer in offering as many things as we possibly can to fit the needs of all the different kids we have. And this is definitely a program that will fit a niche that right now we're not addressing. So I was excited about it. And Crystal has done a great job reaching out to our local community and finding people who are interested?
So currently, we have about 10 active partnerships in the works. One of which is our very own school district. This week, we are meeting with Donna Thompson with Kansas Department of Commerce, and she's gonna help us register our school district as an apprenticeship site. And what that means is we can actually hopefully get our students who are CNA certified, licensed to actually work in our school district. Potentially para support from our high school students, the ones that are wanting to go into education. And then, what was another big one? Sorry. Train of thought lost. But, so we are excited about that. We didn't even realize that that was an opportunity for our school district. That was just in a conversation that we had had with another business. And I said, what should I look for? And she says, have you considered doing your own school district? So I said, nope, now we are. And that got put in the works, so.
So these are registered by the Department of Commerce? You have to go through the Department of Commerce to get approved?
Yeah, and they have, so the business will develop their own strategic plan for what they are going to want their apprenticeship to do, or their apprentice to do while in their apprenticeship. And then they have requirements for the student that they need to accomplish before they can even apply to be an apprentice. So
And
there'll
then
be some
this is
side-
outside CTE, correct? I mean, this is in a different, whole different lane.
Yep, it can be a little bit of both. So it just depends on the unique plan that each business has in place. They may want a CTE pathway student.
So who beat you to the next spot, just out of curiosity?
I want to know too.
There's actually a junior that is going to the state capitol. He will be in their program for 2 years, and I believe he's in a Topeka school district.
Okay.
School. I don't remember which one she said, but they beat us by a few weeks.
So is there a network of schools that are starting to look into this and do this, kind of like with redesign, where you have people you can kind of ask questions, so go through this process together and share your successes and your.
They haven't developed a listserv yet, as far as I know, to where we can, the coordinators or the people who are in charge of the apprenticeships for each school district can collaborate together, but it's really making a splash. Like if we aren't on the train, we're well behind. We ain't even on the train. So, and we're up to the front as far as I'm concerned, so.
That's awesome. So in other words, people may be coming to you for advice.
That's it, yeah. I'll try to answer their questions, but yeah.
Yeah, I definitely do see that. We're at the forefront of this movement. And so I do see people coming to Crystal to say, how did you set this up? How did you get this going? How did you reach out? How did you build all the partnerships she's building? I do think that will be a reality. I do think part of the reason why, and this is just conjecture on my part, but part of the reason why it hasn't got a listserv together yet, it hasn't taken over in education yet, is because you go through the Department of Commerce. That's at a KSDE. And so it's taking a little while to infiltrate the education side of it, but I see that coming very soon.
That's very cool and exciting.
Thank you for all your work. This is exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting for the kids.
So are we, is this something we approved tonight? Yeah, okay. All right, guys. Anyone have any more questions before we?
Madam President, I make a motion to approve the new course proposal, youth apprenticeship at WHS as proposed.
Second.
Okay, yeah, second, all in favor? All right, and then do we have to do both individually? Yeah.
Madam President, I make a motion to approve the new course proposal, career exploration at WHS as proposed.
Second.
All right, so Cheryl and Deb again, and all in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you for your support, guys.
Yeah,
Thank
appreciate it so much.
Thank you for all your work.
Thank you, Crystal.
that brings us to executive, right?
No, number 10.
Number 10. Oh, sorry, for additional positions, okay. No, it's that damp cold when it rains, it just kind of seeps in your bones, it feels like.
Okay, I just wanted to kind of sum up the exercise from Summit. I want to show you the change or the comparison of the two forced choice exercises. This is the combined ranking from each of the two forced choice exercises. On the left-hand side was the first one that was filled out prior to the discussion of the 7th. The second one was the one that was filled out following the meeting on March the 7th. Okay. And what I've done on the very far side, or the very right-hand side, is I've compared the rank order on number 2 to its position on the first choice. Okay, so for example, on the very first one, social workers at the elementary school, that went from number 5 on the first ranked choice to number 1 on the second. So it improved by 4 positions. That's what that +4 means. So you can look down to the right there and see how the positions shifted from top, up and down, or how they went. So the one that really had the biggest change was the social workers at the elementary school. And based on that, if we were going to make a recommendation tonight to add positions, that would be one I would recommend to the board that you consider. But as I communicated to you earlier last week, I think it would be prudent for us to wait on talking about adding positions until we get through with the negotiations. Because anything that you do new position wise is money you take off the table for negotiations. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I think this is something that we should keep. We should revisit this as soon as we can, because there are some real needs here. And I think we've identified some needs here. Any questions? Any comments?
If we, I understand waiting till after negotiations. However, we don't know when negotiations is going to ever end.
Correct.
Will we be neglectful in waiting to hire this worker based on not knowing when that's going? I mean, I understand, but
yeah. And I think, if you're looking at social worker or social workers, those are positions, number one, any of these positions are going to be difficult to find. Okay. But the social worker positions are not going to be necessarily confined to the school calendar. Those positions can be added outside of, they don't necessarily have to be there on August the 1st like an English teacher does.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Obviously, it would be nice if they were there at that point in time, but social workers are not, they can be added during the school year, they can be added late. If they can be found. Now, if we were going to be making a decision on, we wanted to add a teacher or teachers, we should probably advertise, but then you get into a bind. I mean, because if you're going to commit to advertising for teaching staff, then you're basically committing to spend that much money for salary.
Right.
So this was a little bit of a timing issue.
We're talking negotiations may not start until July.
Maybe not, depending on how quickly you get back the bids for the health insurance.
Right. There's a chance that we're looking at a
Last
couple
year,
of weeks before the start of the school year, before we even finish negotiations.
so last year we got the rebids back second week of July, I believe.
Right.
third week of July.
Thank you for putting this all together, Mr. Mann.
Now, the unshared middle school assistant principal, though, is not a hire of a new position.
No. It would not be a new position, but it would be 17, 20, some odd $1,000.
Yes.
Possible.
Right.
So I mean, it is not like we would have to go out and hire a new middle school principal, but we would have to allocate those dollars.
But it's one could be looked at and could be considered to how we finish out the rest of this year, making that transition through the end of this year.
It's comparatively speaking with what we have here, it's a smaller budget item. Yeah.
Deb makes a good point. We wait and we wait, and then we get to the point where, and I mean, you even say, well, we use everything of our pool at negotiations to give, and then we haven't done anything to expand our workforce because we have nothing left to hire. I mean, and then what do? We go through another school year of hearing the same stories that we have of, we need help. Oh, I'm sorry. It goes both ways.
And the other thing, I guess, Corey, I'd say about that is that the inflation wasn't running at 5 to 6%, and we didn't have our health insurance wasn't what it was doing. I'd be willing to roll the dice.
I know, but this is, it's just conversation. I'm just putting comments out there for conversation. I mean, well, just sit here and nod our heads, don't have any conversation about it. I don't know what we're doing any good. You know, I mean, we're gonna be looking at what, a math teacher that we gotta hire in the end of the year too. This isn't taken.
We've already hired.
Is that hired? The replacement is done
tonight.
Okay. Sorry, I overlooked that.
So should we move on to executive?
Yeah, it needs probably 20 minutes for executive personnel.
Okay. Do you want
Or
to do
negotiations, or
negotiations first?
negotiations.
Yeah,
Probably
Negotiations
10
first.
minutes for negotiations.
Okay.
You want to take a picture first before we go to negotiations? You guys.
Why don't you guys call a break?
Okay, we'll call a break. We'll call a break, a 5-minute break. Someone wanna,
Okay.
someone wanna call executive? Make motion? I think he said
Just 10 minutes
10
for
minutes.
negotiation.
Madam President, I make a motion, we go into executive session, to discuss negotiations in order to protect the public interest in negotiating a fair and equitable contract, to invite Superintendent Mann into the executive session and resume the open board meeting at 8:05.
Okay,
8:05.
who's the second?
I'll second.
Tara. Tara beat you to it. All in favor? Okay, motion carried.
Back in.
So this is personnel.
Yeah.
Madam, can I go ahead?
Yep.
Madam President, I make a motion to go into executive session to discuss a personnel performance issue pursuant to the non-elected personnel exemption under what?
I didn't rewrite the motion. It's not performance, it's administrator contracts.
Do we have to say that?
Oh.
Do we have to make that statement? Or
Yeah,
can it just
you
be
do.
personal performance? It is personal performance.
Okay, then go ahead.
To invite the superintendent manager to the executive session and to resume the open meeting in the boardroom at 8:30.
Second.
All right, for second, all in favor, motion carried.
I'm muting. Okay, we're back in.
All right, so we're back in. Madam President, I make a motion to approve extending the contract of all administrators, Scott Meitler, Terry Dow, Brad Kuchar, Travis Graber, Deb North, Amy Flynn, Julie Schrum, and Brian McIntosh through the year 2023-24, making it a 2-year contract with salary and benefits for the 2022-23 school year to be determined at a later date.
Second.
All right.
Who was that, Corey? Corey?
Yeah. Corey, all in favor?
All right. Motion carried.
Let me turn this off. I didn't have a question. I forgot to ask.
Just mute. Just mute.
It's from the live stream.
Oh, yeah. If you just mute your.
I did. I got it now. Okay, sorry about that, folks. All right.
We still live?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so
We can adjourn.
we're adjourned.
Oh, I didn't.
Madam